From Addict to Advocate, heroic stories of tragedy, trauma, treatment, triumph, and transformation by Chuck B. Mackey, a recovered alcoholic helping others on their journeys. Individually and collectively, mankind is on a journey, a quest for significance, an attempt to answer the four burning questions of the human heart: origin, where did I come from? Meaning, why am I here? Morality, how should I live? And destiny, where am I going? In his travels, in search for these answers, he is confronted with gigantic challenges that impede his way. One such enemy of our time is addiction, and it is the most stubborn hindrance to his progress. It is negatively and increasingly consuming larger portions of national budgets, intellectual capital, and global workforce. Broader implications are revealing a rise in depression, mental illness, and physical illnesses, broken families, and social complexity. Unfortunately, like the children of Israel who, when at the threshold of a new world, imagined themselves as grasshoppers in the eyes of their giants, and were delayed due to improper perception and paralyzing fear, we also revert and default to a sole and intense focus on the problem, allowing it to consume our lives, time, thoughts, resources, and energy. Likewise, the young shepherd boy David also had his Goliath, yet instead of viewing him as an insurmountable obstacle, he envisioned him as an opportunity to advance the cause of his people. Rather than a gatekeeper, this giant became the gateway to a new kingship and kingdom. David did so by focusing on his arsenal rather than his adversary. It may be time then for us to consider adopting this new mindset, one that is based on the solution rather than focus on the problem. It may also be time to starve the enemy and feed the ally, zeroing in on the resolution. This calls then for a salutogenic approach. Salutogenesis is defined as the origins of health, focusing on how individuals and communities create and maintain well-being, rather than simply how disease develops. It is evaluated by a degree of a sense of coherence. A sense of coherence comprises comprehensibility. Is my life then supported? Manageability. Are there sufficient accessible resources to sustain a quality life? And meaningfulness. Is life then worth living? This concept is fast gaining traction worldwide and is being incorporated into the political, economic, social, technical, local, legal, ecological, and educational industries. So just how do we solidify this way of thinking into our personal and general psyches? Believe it or not, through the fairy tale. It has been discovered that the Russian fairy tale in particular has always followed a set pattern and is replete with character functions that contribute to and inject a common preset role into the story. Since the fairy tale almost always takes one on a salutogenic journey from bad to better and victimhood to victory, addiction recovery experts are able to use these character functions in the therapeutic role and narrative function medicine dramatizations. The main function used in the intervention method is that of the hero. This is because the addict victim is able to relate to the hero who ventures forth from the world of common day into a region of supernatural wonder where wicked forces are encountered, and fortunately, through the addiction recovery process, a decisive victory is won. Eventually, the hero comes back from this mysterious adventure, transformed and with power to bestow benefits on his fellow man. Many fall for the myth that a fairy tale is but a magical narrative of wonder and adventure, populated by unrealistic characters in a mystical land filled with fire-breathing dragons, dwarfs, and goblins. On the contrary, it is an authentic flesh and blood, rubber meets the road, holistic self engaged in the daily activities of recovery, lived out in the lives of ordinary, everyday folk. In reality, these stories are assembled from real life experiences, not just magical rearranged abstractions meant to entertain and make one feel good. These events provoke, pull out, generate, and manifest an unimaginable version of oneself. This is the hero from within. A hero could be a man who works two jobs to send his children to school, or the mother who took a lower paying job to attend her son's wrestling matches twice a week, or the teacher who canceled her Uber side hustle opportunities to stay behind and tutor her students. It could be the uncle who joined the National Guard to keep his country safe, or the fireman across the street, even the grandmother who retired early to help her family take care of the little ones while their parents went to school and worked. The truth is that we are all heroes to someone and something, and that unconsciously, deep in our hearts, we are all hoping for a new world, a better system, a utopia. This is the essence of recovery, the wages of resilience, the path to advocacy, and the ability to overcome life's grand challenges. However, there is also the hero who is called to change the world on a grander scale. This leader must be able to read trends, scan horizons, create scenarios, and explore deeper levels of communication and alternative futures, as well as the various dimensions of himself. Returning to the idea that mankind is on a journey, it is important to understand that he must develop, nurture, mature, and integrate all aspects of his being. Likewise, like Jesus of Nazareth, the greatest hero of all time, who grew in wisdom, psychologically, stature, biologically, in fear with God spiritually, and with man socially, which are his biopsychosocial spiritual dimensions. He must also possess a good understanding of self-leadership, servant leadership, strategic leadership, and transformational leadership. Recovery is not only needed around drug addiction, but in every aspect of human experience. In any case, there is no recovery without self-discovery. This means that the hero in making must be intimately aware of what makes them tick, their personality traits, unique traits, weaknesses, and flaws. They must also learn to embrace diversity, equity, and inclusion with a sense of belonging. Yes, the aim is to win, but to win together, certainly to recover, but as one. This call goes out then for us to change the way that we see ourselves, our fellow man, the grand challenges of our times, and how we approach the future. So everyone, take your places. Lights, cameras, action. You're on. Let us give our world a production and performance that it will never recover from, addicting it to advancement, progress, and growth. This is the point of salutogenesis, the purpose of recovery, and the power of the fairy tale. In the end, this is how we win.